Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Chef Life Live. I, of course, am your host, Chef Alex Ottusch. Thanks for joining me again on this lovely December Monday night. Happy holidays to everyone out there. Getting close to Christmas and everything. So, happy holidays. Hope everybody's got their plans set and ready to go. This Chef Life Live, this is where we discuss the food service industry and the many diverse people who make it up and their very interesting stories. Very excited to have my guest on tonight, Chef Waylon Rivers, who is originally from Jacksonville, Florida. I got to know him from him working at Black Sheep. We got to do a competition together while I worked at TP Sawgrass. We went to the same culinary school, although he was a few years ahead of me, but I heard his name drop all the time. He was kind of like a famous celebrity at the school. So I was very excited that he agreed to come on and do this because he's an awesome chef. And Waylon got his start cooking in high school. He ended up going to culinary school after a few years of going to the University of North Florida. He started working at Restaurant Orsay, an acclaimed restaurant in Jacksonville. Wanting to continue to grow and learn, Waylon ventured to Charlotte, North Carolina, and worked under James Beard-nominated chef Joe Kindred. He got his first big break back in Jacksonville at Black Sheep Restaurant, a sister restaurant of Orsay. He assumed the executive chef role for 7 years before moving to Pittsburgh, and he is now a chef at Mediterra Cafe in a town in Pittsburgh. I'm going to have him say that. I don't even think Sewickley. I'm not even sure how to say that. But we bring on, this is Chef Waylon Rivers. What's up, Chef? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How's it out in Pittsburgh right now? Is it cold?
Very cold, yes, as you would imagine. Nice snow.
Yeah.
So it's definitely different than Florida, but we're hanging in there.
Absolutely. Yeah, to make a big adjustment moving up to Chicago. But we've gotten one minor snowfall, and like today I think it was a high of like 40 something, almost 50. So it's like it's been up and down here. It's been really weird. I'm not too much of a fan, but yeah, so I gave you a brief introduction, but if you want to kind of introduce yourself a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, you got it right. Sewickley is the town, little borough that I'm out, which is about 15 minutes outside of downtown Pittsburgh. But I grew up in Jacksonville. Kind of fell into the industry just in high school. Got a job dishwashing. It was probably the 10th place I applied. I was really hoping I was going to get that blockbuster job, but hindsight saying that didn't really work out, so I'm happy. Started washing dishes. Yeah. Then 6 months I got on the line and just kind of fell in love with that, the fast-paced environment that a lot of people do that in kitchens. Growing up, so kind of had that angle of like being in athletics, so kind of meshed the two together, just the atmosphere. And then worked my way up, started at some places that were just mom and pop, and then finally got into some more serious kitchens as I was in culinary school, and from there just led to become a chef. It took quite a while to get to that level, and here today.
All right. So how long would you say that you've been in the industry for? Looking back at that today, I was going almost 19 years. So it'll be in in April. Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, a well-seasoned vet of the kitchen for sure.
Yeah.
So you are originally from Jacksonville?
Yep. Yeah, I was born in Jacksonville, and I'm a Mandarin. Grew up there.
Okay.
Like I said, most of my life, Charlotte for a year, and now up in Pittsburgh for going on my second year. So.
Okay. Would you say, is Jacksonville like one of your favorite food cities?
I mean, I love it. There's a lot of things that I miss about it. I miss the seafood, just being right there on the ocean right there, and just having all the varieties of seafood you can get. It's even just the shrimp. I mean, a lot of people don't think of that as hard to miss, but if you get local shrimp, it's hard to beat. So miss that.
That's very true.
So whenever I'm in town, I try to get some seafood and wherever I go, just to kind of get some of that flavor from home.
Yeah. Do you have any other favorite food cities that you like to go to specifically for food?
I mean, I've been to quite a few of the big ones in America. So those are all great. Actually, I've never been to Chicago, which is sad to say.
Ooh.
That's
okay.
It's very bad.
You definitely got to come.
Yeah, it's shameful. I don't like admitting it, but I'd say overall, the one that had the biggest impact on me was probably Copenhagen, Denmark.
Okay.
It was just amazing. I mean, it's this huge food city now, and I don't know, it was just amazing being there. I guess maybe just being overseas too, but it was very inspiring. And
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Went to so many places that were like just unreal, like in a small area. The city's not that big to begin with, and it's just amazing that you could like eat that many places in like a small vicinity. And it's like, it was definitely probably my favorite. I mean, even though I have a long list of them, like, I'm sure you do too.
Of course. Yeah. I know it's a shame to admit that you haven't been to certain food cities. Like, I haven't been to New York yet. So, and that's kind of like a bad one, if not never going to New York, but I'll get there eventually. But yeah, Copenhagen's definitely at the top. Copenhagen's the top of my list for sure for food cities to check out. Definitely. Do you have any like specific favorite foods or anything you've eaten really awesome lately?
I mean, with the whole dining out, or dining, takeout lately, I mean, it's been hard to go out to eat. I mean, but I was thinking about it. I did go out somewhere a few months ago. There's a Korean barbecue place up here, and they do only like Wagyu, like beef.
Oh, nice.
So called Cobra. So it's right outside of Martinsville and Pittsburgh, and it was awesome. It was like so good. I mean, like, we got the A5 Wagyu, so it couldn't beat that. And I love Korean barbecue. It's like one of my favorite kinds of food. So
yeah, that sounds awesome. I enjoy Korean barbecue as well. Do you have like a specific favorite place to go to in Pittsburgh?
I mean, I've pretty much only gone to certain places like once, just because they're like good places. But I mean, you'd be remiss to say if you didn't say like, Morcia, Chef Justin Severino's restaurant. It's great.
Yeah.
Just really doing some awesome stuff with charcuterie and just, kind of falls in line with kind of cooking that, been doing for a while. And, he's definitely up there, he's, nationally known and a great chef.
Yeah.
So you can't really not mention there if you're talking about Pittsburgh.
That's fair. What about like a greasy spoon type spot? Just like the hole in the wall mom and pop shop in Pittsburgh.
I mean, like my favorite food, probably just like eating like on a random day, nothing special, is wings. So there's like a wing spot.
Okay.
Big fellas, but there's like a ton of them, and then there's a mom and pop like Korean place that we were talking about that like. It's called the Golden Pig. It's super good. It's like on this like little country road, and you just drive by and you think it's like a shack or something. Like this, and then I went in there. It's super good. It's really tiny, awesome place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Those are the best for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how it was in Pittsburgh for the pandemic or shutdowns or anything, but did you have a specific like pandemic binge watching show? If you guys had like a quarantine?
Yeah. I mean, I honestly didn't like get to not work at all. But definitely, which is not a problem. I mean, I'm very fortunate.
Yeah.
And I'm not complaining about all that because a lot of people didn't have that luxury.
Mm-hmm.
But one show we just finished, The Mandalorian, which came out, and then Ozark was the one I dove into that was something I hadn't watched any of. So it was like the fact that I hadn't seen any of it. Yeah, that definitely occupied some time. People were talking, and I was like, I mean, I didn't know what to expect, and it was, and I'm almost finished with all 3 seasons. I think
nice.
That's the biggest one I watched, the biggest binge one I watched.
Yeah, I got to get caught up. I've never seen Ozark. Everyone keeps telling me to watch it, and I definitely need to. And I'm still have to finish the second season of The Mandalorian.
I mean, it's hard. Like, it's hard. Sometimes I don't watch TV for a couple of weeks. Like, that doesn't feel like, and then I'll be like, I got to watch this, just finish up a season or something. But yeah, that's a good one for sure. Just check them out. Yeah,
I definitely need to. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I usually like spend at least some time watching TV, at least at the end of the night. But it's like during the day, I try to set like one time where it's like, all right, I'm going to crush this season today. That's my goal for the day. But that's usually like a Sunday or like a weekend day, that you have. But
yeah, for sure.
You've created some like really awesome dishes that I've seen. Do you have a dish that was like really frustrating that either that you were put in charge of or that you created yourself? Just like you thought it out and you're like, oh, this is going to be great. And then in practice, you're like, oh, this is a lot of work.
Well, thank you for saying that. I think of that and like, there's probably too many. I mean, I've made a lot of dishes that I don't even remember what they are anymore. I'm just like, people like I had no clue I even did that. Like, I mean, it's just like, it becomes like So, I mean, yeah, I've definitely had some like that where it's like a, pain in the ass. Like why did I want to do this? Those are usually fun though, because I love challenging myself. I love getting out because I feel like, that's the only way you're going to learn stuff. And, like I said, there's nothing specific that's coming to mind, but like I said, I just try to make new things all the time, and I try to get it the rhythm. You kind of know how your strengths and weaknesses, and then you do try to step out of that box, but you can't. You know what you're capable of, or what you is capable of the situation too. Because you're doing a big dinner for 200 people or something, like we have to get some dinners like that. You weren't going to be doing some things that you do for a special at the restaurant. So it's,
of course,
you have those things where you just kind of you fight through them and figure it out, and there's at the end of the day, that's kind of the fun stuff too, and it's fun to get your ass.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. I mean, it makes you better at the end of the day, even if it sucks doing it the whole time. But so a lot of chefs are kind of, I don't want to say superstitious, but like we have our routines for like how we like to get started when we walk into a kitchen. Do you have like a specific routine that kind of like kickstarts your productivity when you get into a kitchen, like first thing in the morning or whenever you get in?
Yeah, I mean, I like to be very, I like to do the same thing every day. Obviously, it helps you get in the routine, and I do like to make sure I'll always put away my orders or organize the kitchen. Make sure things in this place, which I do throughout the day, like kind of create, just religiously. Essentially, it's just a huge part of my day. And like I remember hearing like a podcast with Dave Chang a while back, and he was like, being a chef is like 90% organization and cleaning, and the rest is food. And that hit home with me. People will be surprised or shocked, like you can't do anything with food until you get your situation set up and your mind clear. Because if you're working in a mess, you're not organized, you're not able to think of the next 5 things you got to do. So for me, it's organization, cleanliness, and just getting things in order. That's how I start my day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely coffee.
Yeah, right. That's what we just think. I start with a coffee for sure.
Yeah.
It depend on like what restaurant I was at, but there'd be some times where I'd have to I'm going to go in, I have to get these things done first, and then I'll go get my coffee. Like that's my reward of like getting my station set up, or like kind of rushing through, not rushing, but like I got to get this stuff done, then I get my coffee kind of thing.
Well, folding my towels and getting I can touch a thing, and I walk by someone's station and it's the towels aren't folding, they have to stop what they're doing, and fold, which eventually people get that, but it's like that's number one. Like get your station. Yeah, that would be the first thing if I was working on the line or anywhere.
Yeah.
Get my apron on, towels folded, and then you get your for sure. Like that. Come to think of it.
Yeah, definitely. The folding of the towels is crucial. It would drive me crazy to walk down the line and see a balled up towel on the station. It's like, just fold it. Please fold it.
Yeah, put it in a pile. Yes, exactly. That'll drive me crazy.
For sure. Do you have, or not do you, I know you do, what is your most essential kitchen tool besides your knife?
I mean, for the situation, probably like a nice pan, so either cast iron or like an all-clad, just like good. It's good to have good cooking utensils, so I mean, I would say that, I could make anything work, but it's nice to have those things to help you get like a good sear or.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes it a little easier on you. So, I could probably picky about a lot of things, but that's probably one that rates up there pretty high.
That makes sense. Having that one good pan, I stress to people, have a good cast iron pan, because with cast iron pan, you can pretty much cook just about anything.
Yeah. And
it's gonna come out pretty good. So have at least one pan that you really enjoy and stick to it. But do you have any kind of go-to cookbooks or learning materials, either when you're starting out or now, that you reference?
I love cookbooks, man. I have so many, and definitely, I feel like I learned a lot of stuff from them, and not just really the recipes so much. When I'd say for people starting out, any Chef Thomas Keller book is essential for
absolutely
and his philosophies on food, because it really open your eyes to a world that you never knew. I thought about that recently, because the French Laundry Cookbook, he talks about a sheep farmer or lamb farmer up in Pennsylvania, and they happen to be 20 miles away from where I live now. I remember that. I was like,
oh wow,
remember reading this in like culinary school and be like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." And now I live like right by that place, and
Like right there.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
That's cool.
Like, yeah, but all like you can ask my wife; she probably like would tell you the opposite. I buy too many cookbooks, but Amazon Prime is amazing for getting some cookbooks.
Absolutely.
But,
yeah, I'm the same way. I have so many cookbooks.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on. I mean, I remember getting a cookbook, Essential Cuisine by Chef Michel Bras, by a chef that I really had no clue like about food at that point. He gave me that and it opened my eyes. So to like the world of what the world of being a chef was and cooking. So I mean, I do recommend people get into books. And I hated reading when I was a kid, and now I love it. I got reading.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can't go wrong with the Thomas Keller books, like you said. And there's so many others that will teach you awesome technique and have good recipes. And even for people who don't want to read them, they make really awesome coffee table books as well, because the photography is usually beautiful in most of them. So just have them around. It's pretty nice. But okay, so that finishes up our kind of like getting to know you questions. So now we're going to dive into our questions that require no garnish. All right, Chef, I know you said that you kind of fell in love with kitchens, that high energy mentality of kitchens, but did you think that this would be the profession that you would end up doing, or did you have a different goal in mind growing up?
Yeah, so like I said, kind of at the beginning, I fell into kitchens and cooking for sure. Like I always loved eating growing up and loved food. I wasn't like one of those kids that grew up like making pasta, fresh pasta with their grandma in the kitchen. My family definitely cooked. We were always taught us the importance of food. Grew up in the South, so we were always, fried chicken dinner Sundays. Eating like livers and gizzards, like things that people now are like think it's so crazy. But I'm like, I didn't know any difference. You know what I mean? Like growing up, so
right.
Like and cooking wasn't like the mainstay. It was definitely like a big deal. Like we loved eating, but it wasn't like anything like specific like to chefs or anything. So fell into that dishwashing job, and then that environment I resonated with and just fell in love with it more. So my parents own like a pest control company, so it was like way off of what I could have been doing, and it wasn't something I loved doing.
Yeah.
So I kind of went a different route. So
what were you said that you had started going to University of North Florida. What were you studying while you were going there?
Well, I probably changed like I don't know how many times my major, but business is probably what I ended up on, and it was like, me and school didn't have a great relationship. Like I didn't do bad in school, but it wasn't like something I enjoyed doing. And I've kind of noticed that going through this career or this industry, a lot of people maybe didn't do great in school, but they were bright people and found ways to use that knowledge in other ways. Or so it's not uncommon to see in the restaurant industry people who don't really care for school, but they can make it in that industry for sure. Yeah,
I was the same way. I went to like Western Michigan after high school and just like didn't really care. I didn't do that well, but that was just because I didn't really care to do it. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so it was just kind of like, that's when I joined the Navy and everything. But it was a while before I went to FSCJ. But yeah, I definitely understand that you meet those people who are extremely intelligent, but they just like didn't do well in school, or like just didn't care to because they didn't know what they wanted to do. But it's kind of it's an interesting bag working in kitchens for sure. Did you get a lot of support from like your family or your parents when you decided to like really pursue culinary?
I'd say they were definitely like, they're always supportive of me. And they knew that I, was passionate about it. Like probably didn't understand it as much. And especially at the beginning, because the places I was working are kind of like, they weren't, the biggest upscale places, but they always supported me and, definitely pushed me and taught me the work ethic that got me, helped me get to where I am today. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I got the same thing for the most part. Not for the most part. I definitely got a lot of support. I don't know if I said that, but so we both went to FSCJ. I know I went just because I was getting out of the Navy and I had heard about their culinary program. I thought it was really great. Do you think culinary school is necessary for most cooks getting into the industry?
I mean, it's a huge, there's a lot of different avenues you can go in this industry. So I think
Mm-hmm.
in some ways it would be helpful for certain ones. And, obviously I made some great connections at Culinary School, and the teachers were great. And,
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed going to that, the professors. So I really enjoyed being with them, around them. I would say it just depends on the person. I mean, like, I think you can learn a lot working in restaurants, and if you want to be a
Yeah,
chef
definitely.
at restaurants, and giving them probably at least a year, just so you can learn them, at least a year so you can learn. Because I mean, some of the people,
Mm-hmm.
like, they think of that and they go every 6 months. You're not going to learn much by working in a restaurant for 6 months. You really need to get some time in there and learn how it goes. But I mean, I would say, I'm not going to be one of those people that says do not go, but I
Yeah.
think working in restaurants is definitely more beneficial, but you can definitely learn some things from going to school too. I mean, it kind of depends on what you're looking to get out of it, but either way, I think it's a good commitment if you do finish school, and it shows that you're committed to something. But I worked full time and went to school, so kind of did both.
Yeah.
You can do it. It's hard, but you can do it.
You definitely can. Yeah, I did the same thing. I was working while I was going to school as well, and it's tough. But I mean, I feel like that's really good for culinary students also to know, like, that's kind of what your day is going to be like. It's going to be long and it's going to be really hard. You're going to be on your feet, and so you better get used to it now. But
For sure. Yeah.
how do you think schools like FSCJ or like smaller culinary schools compare to those like the CIA in New York? Like, do you think those are more suited for a better career in culinary?
I'd say I'd probably be more biased toward the smaller school because I went there, but you're also not footed with a bill at the end of it, to where unrealistically, like, people that come out of the CIA, they think they probably need to be a chef, or make a salary of like a higher paid chef because of how much their loans are going to be, or if they have what want to pay for it. I think it kind of sets unrealistic expectations sometimes, because just because you go to culinary school doesn't mean you're going to be a chef right out of it. You got to it's definitely working in a restaurant. You got to work your way up. It's one of those like industries, and walking into the kitchen, it's a very tight knit kind of like community, and you got to break that. And then just being fresh out of college, it's a lot of stuff to learn still.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I mean, I always hear jokes about people coming out of the CAA and like thinking they're chefs, and kind of going in just getting knocked down. So they'd be like, "Oh, I went to the CIA." I'm like, nobody cares about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like great that you did that, but you got to show what you can do on the line. And in this restaurant, if you got the chops for it or not, I mean, it doesn't matter where you go to school. Honestly, it just matters what you can do when you get in there.
For sure. So, I mean, you've been in the industry for a while. I'm sure you've heard either the horror stories or seen it yourself of, the yes chef culture of doing anything, going to any lengths for whatever the chef says. Like, I mean, I have my own horror stories about that, and I've lived it, I've seen it. But like, how do you feel about that whole yes chef culture? Do you think it's something that I feel like a lot of restaurants are slowly getting out of it to make it more enjoyable for people to work in restaurants, but like, how does that yes chef culture feel to you?
I mean, like I said at the beginning, I've been in this 19 years. So 19 years ago, it was a lot different than it is now. And I think when it comes to that part of the business, I think it all comes to respect. You respect the other cooks or your team around you. You respect the front of house. And they need to respect you as well. So I look at every day as a opportunity to earn their respect, and I hopefully that they're doing the same thing to me. By their work and just trying to be a part of the team and do the best thing they can for the team. So while it shouldn't be like a chef shouldn't be a tyrant and shouldn't mistreat anyone, because it's just not the good way. It's not no way to work around that. It's not right. Work. But just if people worked on earning each other's respect and being the best teammate they could be and working side by side, I think everyone would be a lot happier. And that's the way I look at it. I mean, when I was, I got promoted to executive chef, I was 27. I still felt, I had some people older than me in the kitchen as cooks, and well, for me, that kind of helped me kind of be like, okay, I'm not more seasoned than some of these cooks, but so I need to prove to them that I can do this. And so I think for me, it was a little different. I don't know, if that's the case for everybody, but for me, that's the way I do it every day, and I still try to do it regardless of their experience or the cook or whoever it is. I try to treat everyone equally and with respect, and we're all human. We do make mistakes,
right?
But you gotta treat people like they're people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, when you becoming an executive chef it's quite the achievement. But what does that title of chef, even without executive or anything, like what does that title of chef really mean to you?
I mean, it means sometimes it gets misused, I think. But also I think people who are chefs are people who can understand techniques of cooking food and understand the business side. They have to be able to do other parts of being a chef than just making food. Be able to lead a team and kind of command your area, but also get the whole team to work together and produce the outcome that you need.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I always viewed like chef as, when you have that title of chef, you're the leader, you're the captain, and you have to follow, you have to lead by example, because whether or not you have that title, if you're not a strong leader, you're not really gonna get followers. No one's gonna really respect you or do what you want to do just because you have that title. So it's kind of, I always felt those things went hand in hand for sure. Julie would like to know, as a manager or a boss, how did you deal with the mentality of like the fresh students out of culinary school? That's a good question.
Well, I mean, so yeah, like when they have those people, like, and if they, I don't know if you were talking about how they thought they would be like a chef when they get out of school or something. I mean, you just put them on a station and see how they do. I mean, and you see if they've gotten hired, obviously they've gone through the tests, you give them, or the interview session. So that they've earned that spot at least. And then you start them off on a station. And it can be a humbling experience sometimes when you step into a kitchen, especially when you work at busy ones, which I've been fortunate enough to work at, busy restaurants. Like those times can be, give you a lot of humility and show you what you're made of, but also it's a good learning experience, and you just try to teach them the right way. Show them how it's done, and hopefully you have a good crew around them too that is willing to show them as well. And I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of people like that around.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like you've been pretty lucky then. I feel like a lot of times I had a lot of people come to work like at Little Goat when I did, and kind of talk a big game, and then we throw them on a station, and it wasn't too pretty. Obviously, I would always be there to help and everything. It's just kind of,
I've seen
kind
that
of see them
more or less, many times. I mean, but you just kind of like just get in there and roll your sleeves up, and then they're like, they just kind of like look at you, and you're just like, okay, this is what you got to do every night now.
Yeah, this is it now. This is the standard. So yeah. Have you noticed, like, as far as like the restaurant culture, has there been a big difference from being in Jacksonville from like Pittsburgh, or even working in like Charlotte, in like the kitchen environments?
Not too much. I mean, I thought you'd see more, but especially because they're different regions of the country. Pittsburgh is kind of like Jacksonville. I feel like it's a very blue collar town. It's bigger, bigger city, but the people are similar. So not really. I mean, to be honest with you, like in Charlotte, there was a Johnson and Wales there, so you got a lot more of like those kind of culinary school kids that were like CIA type. But other than that, I mean, there's a good mix of people, and the experiences, I could probably blend them all together, and I probably wouldn't find a difference, to be honest with you. I mean, nothing huge. Like some of the accents that you get, or some of the
that's
slang that
probably the biggest
difference.
Yeah, that's kind of, you being in Pittsburgh, I bet you get some fun accents there, being that part of the country, I'm sure.
Some stuff that you're just like, what does that mean? But I guess I'm from the South, so we'll say the same thing. So
right. Yeah, I struggled when I did my internship in Ireland, and I heard like the Irish slang, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying to me right now. So it was difficult, but it's funny too, because you go to different restaurants either all over the world or across the United States, and kitchens are relatively the same. It just depends on the type of food that they're doing and their own standards. But it's like, they're kind of, the mentality is almost the same.
Yeah.
If you know what they're doing, you can kind of just like slide right in and fit in.
Yeah, they're very, very unique kind of people to be around for sure. So.
Yeah, that is very true. I've met some very interesting characters working in food service.
Yeah.
So obviously there's no Michelin rating systems in Jackson or anything, but what effects do you think that the Michelin Guide has on chefs and restaurants?
Like I think it's got a lot of cool things about it. Like, it's cool to like, if being a chef, you're like, coming up, you're like, man, this place, like you just look at it, you're like, this place has got 3 stars. This place got, like I always seek those places out when I even still do that, because you want to go to the high, the high end places and see what they're all about. I mean, they're very specific and it's all, situational. So it's like you could find a amazing meal at a hole in the wall, but it's all about what your expectation of what you're going to get out of a meal. I mean, going to Le Bernardin in New York, that's probably the first place I went there. And I was just like, I'm so excited. And then right after I ate there, I got a piece of pizza on, like, just for that. It wasn't that I wasn't satisfied. It was just like, I want to experience all I can. So
yeah,
I think that, being in the industry, it's great. I love seeing the top 50 restaurants, even though you got to take that with a grain of salt. There's only so many restaurants that are even probably eligible to be in that, top 50. And so I don't think that like just because it's number 1 in the world doesn't mean I can't find a better meal, but it's also, I would love to eat there. I've eaten at some top 50 restaurants and that's awesome too, but
yeah,
well sometimes. So I mean, it's like it, So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of funny of like the comparison of like what chefs like want to cook and like what we eat are like totally different ends of the spectrum of like going to get like a Michelin star meal and then getting a slice of pizza or like a hot dog. Like that's what I always want after a really fancy meal. It's like, all right, now I just need something like comfort food or something like that. It's just like, fatty and just kind of put me over the edge. But
yeah, for sure.
Do you, I don't want to say like live by, but do you like follow any of the guides or like James Beard, Michelin, the top 50? Do you like really follow those restaurants and kind of track which ones are going where?
I mean, as lately, I feel like I follow more of the top 50, not because I necessarily want to be like them, but I just kind of like think that's like us, I mean, James Beard's more relevant to America, I feel like.
That's true, yeah.
I like to see what's going on around the world, and like it's not so specific. And I just think it's like, just as merely like looking at restaurants, I feel like that's like the upper echelon, seeing those restaurants. But I mean, I follow them all and I look at them all, but it's not like it isn't something I think about until like I was just like, oh, let me look, see you got Michelin star. You go on Instagram, like this restaurant, put how many they got, I would say, you just kind of see it as it comes up. It's not something I follow, but if it pops up on my screen, I'll definitely take a look, or the James Beard rankings or the nominations when they come out. I'll take a look at them and stuff like that. So, I follow it all. Yeah. I mean, I like seeing that kind of stuff and just keeping up with the restaurants, just all around and keeping up with the times,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting to see like what the Michelin Guide is going to do this year specifically, just because of closings and not being able to have the same kind of dining experience, and so it's interesting to see what they're going to do this year. But I think Spain's just came out their Michelin Guide, but I don't know how hard or not they got hit with COVID, so I'm not sure what they were. I don't know, but I know that their guide just did come out. But either way. What was it like working for a James Beard nominated chef?
It was definitely one of the tougher jobs I had, and he definitely had high expectations for us. It was a super busy restaurant, and I was like, it was I remember I got hired in the holiday season, and we were at this mall, and it was just like packed all the time, and the prep was super intense. Like every day, you're making like, I was doing things that used to have like prep people do for the station, and there was like barely, there was like no prep person. Like there maybe did a couple of things, but like you did all your own prep, and that was like at first thought it was crazy. I was like, I can't do this, and then I didn't, but I was like, I'm not the kind of person that gives up, and I was just like, it drove me harder, and it made me want to accomplish it more, made me more hungry to get better at it, and then that was like the best thing that ever happened to me probably, because I was in a new city. So I thought, I had this idea, like, man, I've already, was working at this restaurant in Jacksonville, Orsay, like super busy. I feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm ready. I felt like I was ready to be a sous chef. And I got there at this place and worked for Chef Joe Kindred. And it was a whole nother level of intensity. But also, like it was a great learning experience and definitely propelled my, career. I just kept growing after that, and took what I loved, what I learned there, and I was able to build off of it.
That's great. So, what does like making it mean to you when it comes to working in food service? Like, do you aspire to have Michelin stars, or kind of become an institution in whatever area you're in, or being nominated for awards? Like, kind of like what's your end goal as far as being in the food service goes?
I mean, definitely when I was younger, like that occupied my mind a lot more. And I think that to my detriment, like I was so worried about wanting to be noticed like that. I mean, I don't think I did anything different, but I was like, I definitely like thought about, I was like, man, I hope like, especially being in Jacksonville, I wanted us to get on the map, and like, I wanted to help people for that, never happened there. And so, now I just strive to, I think, I have learned so much more and just, I feel so much better at work just doing what I do now. It's trying to make the best quality food I can, teach my team, trying to work better, to have a great work-life balance or work, home balance. That's helped me achieve more. And like, just that has made my whole, outlook on the, industry and my career a lot better. If I do get a nomination or do get any sort of recognition, great. If not, I still feel proud of what I've done, and as long as I can help maybe teach some of my team some stuff, and hopefully people enjoy coming to the restaurants I work at, and that's all that matters to me. I mean, who wouldn't want to have recognition for the restaurant, but it doesn't like I don't lose sleep every night, and it's kind of right place, right time sometimes for certain things like that too. So I mean, I'm not gonna, go just thinking about that all the time.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely. I feel like I don't know, maybe in culinary school specifically, it's kind of hard to like get away from the mentality of like the Michelin stars, because that's what they kind of use as examples for a lot of things, and the chefs. And so it's like, yeah, of course you want to like go there and that's what you want to achieve. But I don't know. For me, it's when you become, I guess, a chef and you have people underneath you, and it's I feel better to inspire these people to like want to be better and like see them progress, and was really exciting for me when I was cooking. But
yeah, I agree. I mean, just developing people and seeing them grow, because I mean they're just gonna like make you better as a chef, and or even making the restaurant better. So that's all you can really.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like if you do those things, like the nominations and the awards kind of follow for the most part.
Yeah.
Because if you train and you get a good team that's inspired and they want to follow you, and then you're just going to make better food and make people happy eating it, and they'll spread the word, and all that other stuff follows. So, that's good to have those kind of aspirations rather than the awards and everything.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with wanting to do that. I mean, everybody, I'm sure people like that, but I mean, it's like at the end of the day, you can't just consume yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of like awards or like achieving things, like do you watch programs on like Food Network or Netflix, Chef's Table, anything like that?
I mean, I've watched like the Chef's Table. That one's really cool series. There was like one cooking competition on Netflix. Tim Hollingsworth won it. It was like the final table or something like that, or what was it?
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. I know what you're talking about though.
I watched that one. I mean, I used to watch Top Chef when I was like young, but I haven't watched that in a while. So like I watch those. I watched that show It's Alive. Started watching that recently on Amazon Prime. It's this guy from like Bon Appetit, like Test Kitchen, makes these little short, like 15, 20-minute videos. Like a lot of his like fermentation projects and stuff like that. So,
that's cool. I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's called It's Alive. It's a really good one. Shout out to Alex Baker, my old sous chef, showed me that one.
Nice.
Other than that, I mean, I don't like. I watch the chef's Chef's Table. Yeah, that's probably the one I watch the most. I'm sure.
Okay.
But
what image of like restaurants and like this chef life do you think Food Network and Netflix like really portray?
Oh man, they definitely like make you see they make it seem like it's glorious to work in a kitchen all the time, and it's like like super like the wind's blowing, like you think of like Iron Chef, like there's like crazy like smoke blowing around, like you're in this like crazy like vacuum of an environment where everything's perfect around and you have nothing else to deal with but make this dish. But in reality, that's like the opposite of what's happening. There's so much craziness. Like you have cooks going out, you have orders showing up late, you have dishwashers breaking dishes, or like something crazy happening. Not all the time. It always is, but other things happening throughout the day. Somebody grabbing you this way, that way, but while you're trying to do prep and get ready for service. So it doesn't really. It has chaos, but it's like different. It's like manufactured chaos, in the show. Dish in like 2 minutes or something, but it's not really. I mean, if you're doing that in real life, then you're behind, and you're not a very good chef.
Yeah, that's very true.
Probably good, but I wouldn't recommend it. But
right.
Yeah, so it doesn't like show like the hardships and all the challenges that you come with day to day. It just shows you like the food part people are most interested in. Understand. And then maybe those culinary students who watch that kind of stuff, they're like thinking they're going to be at that right off the bat, and it's like no, those kind of people are. Those kind of shows don't really show you what most of the day to day is like, or at all. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the part of the point of why I wanted to like do these interviews and talk to real people, just because like a lot of people only get their culinary information from those shows, and it's like, yeah, they're fun, but it's like that is not what it's like.
Yeah,
and it's a lot more. I don't say dull. I don't think there's really a dull day in the kitchen, but it's not as quite as exciting as they show you.
That you're thinking of, if you're thinking of excitement.
Yeah, it's not that. It's more the excitement of somebody just called out and I'm already short-staffed. So what's my move here? That's kind of the.
So we're gonna figure this out.
Yeah. That's one thing that you really learn in kitchens is how to like come up with solutions quick and fast on the spot and keep moving forward. But I mean, would you say that these types of programs, even like I'll admit, I love Guy Fieri's Divers, Dine-Ins, Drives. That's like, I love it. It's a really cool show. Would you say that shows like that even like spawn a more adventurous group of diners?
Yeah, I mean, like for all the crap that he got, like a lot, Guy Fieri's definitely done a lot for this industry, like people like that, and himself, he wasn't focusing on like big name restaurants. He was going like the mom and pop places or independent restaurants, which is amazing that he did that. I mean, that's awesome in that the world of those shows or Instagram, or they have some good benefits. I mean, it brings you to food that you may have never seen or dishes you would have never seen. I mean, the opposite side of that, a lot of people you seem like the food world kind of all doing the same thing at the same time, as where before it wasn't like that, So that's one part of it, but the other part of it is, people are exposed to more, and they are maybe more adventurous, or see some everyday people like them eating something that they thought they would have never eaten or something. So I mean, he's definitely done a lot of good in that manner, and just himself, but those shows do help get the word out in those smaller restaurants.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that's probably one of the benefits of those shows specifically. It kind of gets the word out of really awesome restaurants. And because even watching Chef's Table, I learned about a lot of restaurants I had no clue about, or chefs from around the world. And it's like, oh man, I need to go check those out eventually.
The barbecue one was really cool. The barbecue series they did, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was a cool one for sure. Definitely want to. I don't remember where they all were. The guy in Australia was really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine working in that kitchen just with just fire constantly. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be tough, but I can't imagine his ventilation
kitchen setup that you don't see, but it was like, pretty cool. I love to be around that. I love wood fire and just like cooking with fire. I mean, so I can imagine that would be a great place to work at for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any plans to open a restaurant one day of your own?
I've thought, I obviously thought about that a lot, go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to. I mean, like trying to find that work-life balance that I've strived for. But also, I mean, yeah, I would love to, have an entrepreneurial spirit, my family owning a business. I mean, it's definitely not off the table, and it's always something been on the back of my mind. I've even, come up with different ideas and just, models of what I would do. It's also, so like I said, it'd be great. It's not my end goal. I'd be satisfied if I didn't, but it'd be, something to consider for sure. And for the right opportunity arose, I would definitely, consider it and entertain that.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned having a good work-life balance, and you're married and you have 5 kids, right?
4.
4, okay.
My wife has a son, and then I have 3 kids, so together we have 4.
Okay. Wow. Would you want any of your kids to follow your footsteps and go into food service? Be a chef?
I mean, they're very I teach them all about food. I think my daughter, she's 7, and she probably name more herbs than most adults could. She's very, very good with that.
Yeah.
She's very knowledgeable.
That's awesome.
The kids are love food, and they're doing really well. Just exploring things, and I also let them eat chicken fingers and mac and cheese like every other parent, because he does stuff too. But I mean, I don't know if I necessarily I don't want to say I don't want them to do it, but I would want them to just do what they want to do, and if it happens to be that, I feel like they'll have a good knowledge of food and probably suit them well. I mean, definitely a lot more than I had at their age. So if they find the right opportunity and they're not, and it's good for them and it's good for their life, then definitely. But if not, whatever makes them happy.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you kind of separate your work life and your personal life? How do you keep that balance with your family?
Well, just being organized at work, definitely trying to make my day not stretch out too far, trying to be organized, my job done. I think working out really helps me out too, keep a clear mind. I think the more I work out, that kind of helps me get stress off and keep me, motivated at work. Some people, I see people who don't do that, and I feel like for me, it helps me. It helps me you have more energy at work,
absolutely.
That I can get home and have the still energy and not get home and be really tired. Also, something that I finally, just started doing was meal prepping at home. I always looked at I always loved cooking at home, but you get home and you got to make dinner. I'm wow, I'm good at cooking a lot of food at once. So why don't I just do this at home? On my day off, I've cooked 4 meals at once, in 2 hours. I'm then the rest of my week, I just heat things up or maybe cook some rice to go with the chicken I made or, whatever it is.
Right.
So it's 15 minutes of cooking as opposed to 2 hours of cooking and cleaning. I'm why don't you just work to your strengths at home too? And I never really I don't know why I never really thought of that or never had the desire to do that, but I finally started doing it and it helped a lot.
Yeah. I've never been good at meal prepping. It's always a scramble whenever I would get home and just hopefully find. Luckily, I met an amazing woman, Julie, who was lovely enough to make me sandwiches, and I had a sandwich waiting for me when I got home. So that was really nice. Thank you, Julie, for watching. But yeah, I'm definitely
for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, we make a big thing of rice, and so we just have rice hanging around, and then you just whip up some fried rice with whatever veggies you kind of have laying around. It's super easy, but it's good that you have that regiment to keep your good stay mentally healthy as well as physically and everything. That's really important. Do you have what do you do for like your staff to make sure they're staying like mentally healthy and kind of keeping a decent work-life balance for them?
I mean, yeah, like obviously people like I'll try to give them 2 days off in a row if I can. I mean, it's usually the goal to give people like time to disconnect and do things in their personal life they need to do. If they have requests off, they're always, pretty much taken, or given. You make sure they can be there if they have an important event in their life. If something happens, if family's first, so if you got to be off for your family, then I definitely make sure that happens. You try to talk to people if you see them down, like if you see them not, acting. It's hard to tell. You can't read people's minds. So if you just try to pick cues and talk to them, and the best day, just say, just let them know you're there if you need to talk to me, and I don't ever pressure them or try to delve into it. But just leave the door open for them, and be like, hey, if you need to talk, I'm here for you. Try to give them that, that understanding, So
absolutely.
But I mean, it's important in the happiness of your coworkers. They're people too, just like you, and you want to make sure that they're performing their best, but also just living their life the best they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely tough to like try to gauge how people are feeling and making sure they're okay, but you don't want to like pry and go too far, and so it's a delicate balance. But like you said, just as long as they know that door's open, then that's kind of all you can do at the end of the day, is being that presence that they know they can talk to if they choose to. But
yeah.
So what would you say is the best and the worst part about being a chef?
I mean, the best part of being a chef is there's a lot of great things, obviously. I mean, it's the food side of it is you get to like eat a lot of cool food and make food that you love. Try things that most people don't get to try, and make dishes that you never would have thought of, or they haven't had the opportunity. If someone gives you that confidence, it's a great feeling to have that. And just being able to lead a team and like teach people, be a mentor, if you're lucky enough for someone to consider you that, or just be a team leader to them and someone they can look up to. And like we talked about just a minute ago, like just trying to be there for them. And if they maybe work is like the best part of their day because they have a bad situation outside of work, and you try to
absolutely
be a good place for them and try to have a relationships with people and just be around them. It's tight knit family. You work with people a lot more times than they even see their own family, so it's pretty cool to be able to do that. And like a lot of work and jobs probably don't like that, where they get in, they get out, and they don't really connect to people.
That's
working on doing Zoom calls. And my wife does Zoom calls a lot. She can't really connect with her coworkers. It's like I'm going to do my work and face to face with people. So that's a cool part of that industry. And the tough part or the bad part, being a chef. I mean, it's missing those family events, and like missing holidays and stuff that we have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Whether it be you might be off Christmas, but you work until Christmas Eve all night, and you wake up tired, and people are like, oh, you must be cooking Thanksgiving. You're like, well, probably not, because I'm working every day until then, and like I don't want to cook. You know what I mean? Like I'm just happy to be off with my family, and I'll just be a part of it. So this life events, and if you're able to figure out that balance, then it helps. So I would say that's probably the worst part. Maybe older, as you get older, you kind of feel that way. I'm sure when you're younger, it's probably
definitely. So. Yeah, it was definitely hard when I was working in Jacksonville, and all my family's up here in Michigan, and so I missed out on plenty of holidays and everything of just not being able to come up. And so, but I always got that every time I did come up, they're like, well, what are you cooking? I'm like, nothing. This is vacation. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah.
All right. So my last question before we get into our lightning round is not really a question. What words of wisdom do you have for either like new cooks coming in the industry or home cooks? What advice would you give them?
Make sure you're open to trying any food. Like, it's kind of weird to me when people get into being a chef and like, oh, I don't like this and this and this. I'm like, well, I mean, I guess everybody, if you have an allergy, that's one thing, but you should definitely be open to trying food, anything. And being just always pushing yourself to learn more about food and learn more about cooking. Like it's a huge world so much stuff. You can never learn it all. So just try to open your eyes to it, keep reading, keep eating new things and cooking new dishes. It's the only way you're going to learn is trying things, fit and being open to failing. Because, if you don't fail, you're not going to learn either. I mean, if you're so worried about doing everything perfect, well, it's not going to be the case. You're going to screw up. And you usually learn a lot more that way anyway. So.
Yep, absolutely. Failure is they're the best teacher,
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're going to now move into our lightning round. Okay, lightning round. Answer as fast as you can. First thing pops in your head. So number one is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
I guess I have to answer pretty fast. Probably, I guess the first thing that popped in my head would be like to fly. I mean, I don't know, it'd be cool to just like take off anywhere and just fly through and just go wherever you want pretty much and be pretty fast. So I don't know. I mean, there's probably a lot, I guess. No, that would be cool.
That's a good one. I mean, that's pretty popular choice. It's just practical, just to be able to go somewhere whenever you want to.
Yeah.
That'd be great. All right, number two, are you a morning or a night person?
Definitely a morning person, to the detriment of my wife. She's definitely she's not a morning person. I'm like, I pop out of bed, I get my coffee, I'm ready to go. I mean, there's very rarely. I can stay up pretty late too, so I mean, but I like.
Yeah, that's fair. That's funny because I'm the other. Like I like waking up in the morning, but I can't just like pop out of bed and just go. Like it takes me forever. My fiance is like you. Like when she wakes up, she is up and she's moving. But it's definitely something I envy. It's like I wish I could do that. I try so hard. It's like every night when I go to bed, I'm like, I'm getting up. I'm gonna just go, and then that alarm goes off. I'm like, nope.
I like wake up before my alarm goes off. Usually, I'm just like.
All right, number three, coffee or tea?
I mean, I love them both. I'll usually start my day with coffee, but throughout the day I'll go to tea. I mean, like especially lately, I've just kind of grown to like a lot more teas. Where I work now with this cafe, we have like so many good options, so it's pretty cool. It's nice to have different kinds, and then obviously I'm from the South, so I love my sweet tea for dinner.
Man, I haven't had sweet tea in a minute. I miss it sometimes. I was never the biggest like sweet tea drinker, but like every so often I get that like craving for it. It's like, I really would love some sweet tea.
I mean, it used to be one of my chores growing up was making sweet tea. So
making sweet tea. Yeah. I feel like I've heard that from every person who's grown up in the South. Like that was my chore as a kid. I had to make the sweet tea.
Yeah, it better be cold before dinner. You got like so much trouble.
Yeah, you got to melt down like a half a pound of sugar. You're probably more than that. Yeah. And then cool it down, right? Yeah. All right, number four. Do you live to work, or do you work to live, or live to work?
I mean, I would hope I work to live. I mean, I probably feels the other way because I love working too. But if I had my say, I would like work to live just so I could experience, traveling or just having free time or, but I enjoy working too. So it's not really either way. It's good for me.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, number five. If you could trade places with one person for a day, who would it be and why?
Man, that's a tough one. Oh, shoot. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe like my dog, so I can just lay around all day.
That's fair. That's a good one.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to be like an athlete because that would be like more work, just like
right.
A chef would just be like, if I want to be like a really good chef, it'd just be even harder work, like a really,
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know, or maybe just be a kid.
Be a kid. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Go back to like middle school and not have to worry about anything.
Play video games.
Except for things that you think are. Yeah, exactly.
Stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds great. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right, number 6. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Definitely focused. Oh man, goofy and sincere. Those weird words, but I'm like a mix of all of it.
Makes sense. Those are good ones. I haven't heard goofy or sincere yet. That was a good one. Sincere is a good way to describe yourself for sure. All right, number 7. If you could travel anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go and why?
I have several places I would like to go for, food reasons. So that's always on top of my list. Probably Japan. Try up on my list. Definitely want to go to Japan. Just looks so beautiful there, and just the way I would love to be amongst, just those places. I think they really have so passionate about what they do in every walk of life, and take, they just really show that in their work, and just like to be, see how it seems like a lot different than America in certain ways.
For sure.
I would love
Japan's at the top of my list as well. The place I would go. It's fine. Don't worry about what Jonathan's saying with the speed.
Yeah.
No one I've had on the show to do the lightning round has ever really just been like on it like that, and which is fine. But it's kind of funny though.
We don't. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put a lightning round for his cooking either. If he's saying it's not fast enough, because he's, I've seen him cook by his side. I'm talking about my old boss, John Seta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, if you're watching, if you want to be on the show, I'd love to have you on as well. So I'll get a hold of you at some point. So look for a message from me. But all right, number 8. If you had a yacht, what would you name it?
If I had a yacht, I would name it. Probably something stupid, because I'm like I'll say like super corny stuff, but probably embarrass my whole family. That's what I'm good at. Probably. Jeez, I'm usually more witty than this. Boats and Hose is the first thing that comes to mind.
Boats and Hose. That's classic right there. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, number 9. What TV sitcom family would you like to be a member of?
I mean, I could probably like Married with Children. I feel like I would relate to that the most.
That's funny.
Or like, I don't know, The Simpsons. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
That's funny. Married with Children. Yeah, that's funny. All right, last one. With 2020 is almost over, and it's been a doozy of a year for sure. But what is one thing that you've done this year that you are most proud of?
I mean, it'd probably be outside of work. I mean, me and my wife, we built a house, and really just making this our home. So it's been a lot of work doing that too. We closed like right at the beginning of the pandemic. Just been a lot of work put into this house, and trying to that, like big move to that, and just everything that goes into it. It's been a huge thing for us, and so I think that's probably the biggest thing. Just that, and I mean, work is always there, and trying to do better at that. But this has been a pretty big one this year. So
nice, yeah, that's great. All right, well, that's all the questions I have for you this evening. So thank you so much, Jeff, for joining me tonight. I really appreciated it. It was great having you on. It was great talking again. It's been a while.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, of course. Thank you to everyone who watched tonight. Of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share all my links, hit the like button, bell for notifications. Coming out with a lot of really awesome videos. Been working a lot more private events, so I got some more vlogs coming out. So stay tuned for some more good content. But again, thank you, Chef Waylon, for joining me tonight, and thank you everyone for watching. Join me next week. I'm very excited to have the former chef of Blackbird, Ryan Pfeiffer, on. I think that's going to be a good one. So also stay tuned for that. But again, Jeff, thank you. And thank you everyone for watching. Of course. And hope everyone has a good night, and we'll see you next week. So have a good night, chefs.